Shit. What the hell has happened here? Oh my god. God almighty. Don't know what is going on here. This woodland just gets stranger and stranger, but the gutting thing is I was hoping to show you lot that cabin built from start to finish. It was just going to be a little cabin. Might as well show you it now. It's wrecked, but I might as well show you it's wrecked now. But I'll show you the video I was starting to make that would have probably took a month or two to put up. Although there weren't a lot of work put into that frame, there was a lot of work elsewhere on the yard where I've broken down about 50-60 large 7-foot pallets, broken all the boarding off it to make walls for that. I even measured up my stove, so a little stove would have gone in there. I'm not going to scrap it. I'm just going to I'm going to have to rethink the idea. I'm glad I caught that on video, to be honest with you, and had I not been out hunting with my catapult, I probably wouldn't have come through here. I was just coming through just to check on things. I know there's a lot of deer in these woods. I did have one creepy night back in January, hence why I was building the cabin. There's a lot of strange things that happen in here. I do just believe that's vandalism. How it broke in front of my eyes on camera with no one else there, I don't know. The trail cam should show everything. I'm going to collect in my trail cams from this bit of wood and see if there's anything on there that points towards how this has happened, to be honest with you, because if it is kids, I need to know where they're coming in from, because obviously I do shoot as well, not this part of the woodland, but even with the catapult it's quite dangerous, so I do need to know if there's trespassers coming in, because it's a safety aspect as well for my channel. I don't want anyone to get hurt. And yeah, as I say, this is, to be honest with you, that doesn't look like a lot of work that's laying on the floor there, but back at the yard, 50-60 pallets out in the rain, breaking them down with a pallet breaker, denailing them, getting everything cut to size ready to bring in, because everything's been manually brought in by hand. It's just been on the shoulder and brought in. So I am a little bit hacked off about it, but I'm absolutely shattered. I spent most of yesterday night looking through trail cam footage. Cameras 1 to 6 that are out in that woodland have been brought in, and yesterday evening I spent from about 8 o'clock all the way to early hours sifting through, from camera 1 to camera 6, hundreds of files of birds, rabbit, deer, hares. But then when I got to the last cameras, I found something a bit more shocking, and I was very, very tired. So I've checked them again in the van again today, and it's exactly as what I see yesterday. So it weren't sleep deprivation. There's a figure at night time that's in the right hand side of I believe it's camera 6. Starts off, comes out of the woodland, and then all of a sudden it seems to trigger the camera again and then come back out. That again happens about a week later on camera 4, but this time it's daytime and it's a bit more explainable. I mean, it looks to me like someone's in there poaching for the deer perhaps, or doing a bit of wildlife photography, but whoever it is shouldn't be there. They haven't got permission to be there. It's only me. I've phoned the landowner Chris. He swears blind that no one else should be in there. It's quite secure as well. I've never seen anyone in the 2 years that I know in there, even on any of the trail cams. Now, trail cam 1 didn't do very well. It's definitely, again, if it's not the same person, it is a person. They're dressed up in some sort of camouflage or poncho. I mean, it looks like they've got a big beard. I think it's a man, to be honest with you. Trail cam 3, I did have some noises about probably 2 months ago, and I just writ it off as a deer that had been running past the camera, stopped and huffed, and I caught the huffing noise. That was pretty creepy, so I've thrown it in with this. It's probably completely unrelated. But I thought I'd chuck it in there as well. How this person, being whatever it is, didn't fall arse overhead going from one side of the woodland in the complete pitch black, I do not know, and it just goes across so graceful. So have a look at it, see what you think and let me know. But tonight I'm going to get out there, I'm going to finish my day's work today, absolutely shattered, but I'm going to get my pack on and go over there just before it gets dusk. Try and have a little recce round to see if there is anyone sort of hanging about that looks a bit sort of dodgy. I will park the van right down the lane and then see what we get out of that. Possibly might end up tenting it out over the weekend as well. So yeah, see what comes of it. It's got darker a lot quicker than what I thought it would, and it's drawn in pitch black, inky black. I'm almost on top of the site of cabin number 2. That is where cabin number 2 is, or was, should I say. You should all remember, it should be put together by now. I was proper agitated that someone's done this to that. I don't know if you can hear it. I didn't see anything, but I could hear like wood splitting, like as in like someone chopping wood, like with an axe or something. I'm not entirely sure what that would have been. That was it. Right, okay. I don't think that's got anything to do with poachers, that noise. That's pretty much what happened to me last January. So didn't plan on staying the night in here tonight, so I'm going to go back to the car and I'll brief you in the morning. So sorry that last clip ended abruptly. Walking into the wood, I contemplated whether or not to start filming. I had an unusual sense of anxiety that kept me from having the light from the camera in my face, affecting my ability to see very well. Then when I finally did pluck up the courage to start talking to the camera, splitting sounds happened. Twice on the camera, and then 3 times after I shut the camera off. I needed to get my full sight back, and this sent my anxiety through the roof. My heart was beating through my chest, breathing went haywire, so I needed to end it there and I went home for the night. I'm sure it was just probably the result of hardly any sleep the night before, thinking of the unknown stalker that was on my trail camera traps, playing every time I see a shadow of the next tree ahead. Either way, it does show, even the most confident wild campers can get bush spooked. So I decided to take a little break, a few days off, and then go back fully charged and ready to settle in for an afternoon and a night at this historic wood. And yeah, completely on my own. I've always been a believer in tackling your issues and your fears, hit them head on, but with a clear sense of positivity and attitude. For example, if you love riding, you fall off, yeah, it hurts and it scares you, you've got to get back on, crack on. If you apply this to most things in your life, you'll find yourself in a good place. Well, I've made it in here, so we're here for the night now. It's late afternoon, and I just want to go through a few things with you. So despite the cabin being staked into the ground, it was turned up on its heaviest end, with the door frame being up in the air, and then it obviously collapsed down. But it was also put in, so it would have been facing into these woods, and it was actually turned around and then put on its end by the looks of it. There's no other way it could have got like this, really. So, strange. So I'm going to be camping about here, just with my camera bag and tripods hanging from the tree. I'm going to camp in this little space. So I'm basically going to be setting up my OEX tent right here where you see now. I have got a little gadget to set up as well tonight, just so that I can sleep a little bit better. there's us. So this is the little gadget I'm going to be using tonight to let me know if there's anyone about after dark. It's basically a gate alarm that farmers use. It's a 1-inch cartridge, 12 bore, non-lethal. There's no way it can hurt anyone unless you actually put your face to it, which in that case there's a little plate that covers it over. I'm going to strap that to a tree and then run a trip line all the way around the immediate vicinity of my camp at about waist height. If that pin gets pulled from there because of the trip line being activated, this will let a charge off and it will hopefully either scare away whatever it is that's creeping about, and it will wake me up. So that's it, all set. If this is pulled out, that will release this trigger, which will then fall down onto the cartridge and make a loud bang. I'm now going to trace this around the trees at about waist height and then completely activate this during the night time. Just while I let that cook, it'd be interesting to know if any of the viewers suffer from anxiety from wild camping, whether that be like solo or as a group. It'd be interesting to find out what people think. It is one of them things where primal fear does take over when it's completely dark and you're in the middle of the woods. Some people even get it in towns and cities. I don't think it's anything to be ashamed of. It's just, you know, it's ingrained in us to be a bit more cautious when it's dark and we can't see in the dark. Obviously some animals are nocturnal, they can see. We're not built like that, so our primitive fear does get raised up quite a bit. It's just a matter of practicing it, and once you've practiced it, obviously like anything, you get better. There's a patch of about an acre that's like that, and it's like there most of the year. Obviously in the wet weather it's a lot higher, but yeah, it's a perfect habitat for all creatures really. You've got more than enough to eat in here, and you've got water source and plenty of cover. So with that cabin, I think what I'll do is I'll take it apart again, bring all the boarding in for the walls, and then put it together all in one go. I've got some thick 9mm perspex for the windows and some corrugated sheet roofing, some D-shaped sheet roofing, and then obviously I'm going to make a door up with another little bit of perspex in 9mm and put T-hinges on and just a basic little like latch lock, like a little Harsman staple. There's just a few things in here we've got to keep an eye on really. Not going to let it put me off. This cabin will happen, and I'm going to make sure that it does, and everyone on the channel gets to see it from start to finish. Well, I'm all settled in. It's really raining now, so until that stops I won't be getting back out. So the weather's so bad I've resorted to staying in here. The rain's smashing it down, so I'm going to catch up on my YouTube subscriptions and have a couple of beers.
anxiety of the potential camping ban all over again. And the tame campers who roll up in a motorhome, light a disposable barbecue and leave all their rubbish everywhere. The case is going to the Supreme Court, and we're going to have to go through the anxiety of the potential camping ban all over again.
Someone's doing fireworks. Yeah, these OEX tents are pretty good. I've never had any water come through any one of them that I've got. Every one I've owned also has been very easy to put up. I'm off to bed now. I shall see you in the morning. I've not got a clue what that noise was. There's about 8 different noises, sound like someone was walking around about 40 yards away. I had no bang off of the alarm, but definitely a banging in the woods. Don't know what the audio is going to come up like on here, whether it caught it or not, but 100% it was like at least 40 yards away, something like that.